Season 2, Episode 3. Welcome back to Tailgate Talk. This Season 2, Episode 3. In this episode, we will be covering this past week's Southwest Virginia Scrimmages and this week's Jamborees and benefit games. Boys, let's get it poppin'. This past week, we had several scrimmages, boys. That means it's right around the corner, ain't it? This week, we'll have the benefit games and Jamborees, some more of them. And we went and saw a few games, didn't we, K-Dog?
We've watched quite a few. We've got lucky and have caught quite a few and got to watch some on YouTube and some on the NFHS. So, yeah, we've watched some football this week. It's getting there.
Shane, he's got to catch up with us here a little bit, don't you, little buddy?
Yeah. Young'un run me to death.
That young'un will takes time up, don't
it? Oh, yeah. Kills me.
Well, I mean, a lot of them didn't do the NFHS this time, so it was kind of hard to catch them all.
You can't take a 6-month-old to a ball game outside and it's starting to get cool. Well, look out, mister.
Well, you know, some of these diehard fans is probably going to beg the difference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, Twin Springs and Harlan, Kentucky, me and Kermit saw this one last minute. It was like, hey, let's go. And I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. So we took off over to the Twin Springs to kind of get a glimpse on this one. And, I mean, Harlan, Kentucky's actually got a guy that's getting, you know, like a D2 look. So I guess it's number 10. He's a good-looking athlete. They probably won't see another running back as, you know, as shifty and as quick as that boy was. And, and everything. But overall, I think you can tell that Twin Springs is young on the line right now, and they need to get some conditioning still right there. But I think if they can do that, you know, get that line ready to go, because there's not no depth really behind them that much, I don't think. Although the JV team did look pretty good too, didn't they? They actually got them fired up.
Their JV looked really good, and they had a kid on that JV team, man. He's going to be something else. What was his number 40? Which that may not have even been his real number. A lot of them kids didn't even have their original game numbers on. You know, they just had kind of old practice jerseys on, and that kid was a wrecking machine. Now he was something else for Harlan to take down over there. But you talk about that number 10 from Harlan. If he could have got some clean handoffs in the backfield, that kid would have been gone. They struggled a little bit in the backfield on the handoff situations quite a few times. But now Twin Springs, though, they had a young quarterback, and he's pretty big feller, and had a pretty good arm on him. I think he's still going to have to grow a whole lot to try to fill the role of their last quarterback.
I believe we heard that he was a junior.
Yeah.
Didn't we? So,
but they still had their little dude, man, and he flat hit the hose hard, and he was giving Harlan a timer for a little while, you know, until they caught on to him and started gang tackling them and meeting them at the hole, because, man, he hits the hole quick and hard, and he got some wheels on him, don't he, for a little dude.
You remember him from last year, don't you, Sean?
Oh, yeah. Little running back.
Yeah, a little short.
22 or something, maybe.
I think he was like 19 or 18 or something like that.
I remember him from last year.
Which I don't think none of them had their original numbers. They just kind of like old practice jerseys with different numbers on them.
Yeah, he actually looks a little faster than he did last year.
Oh yeah,
and you can tell he's been in the weight room a little bit more. He's a little bit more.
Yeah,
you know.
I just think
he don't back down, does
he? The biggest thing is I think he's just how hard he was hitting the hose and getting up there. He was quick.
Well, he's one of them backs that's short and hides behind a line real well, and I mean he's going to be hard for teams to pick out. You know what I mean?
then they had another kid, number 7, and he made some pretty big plays and some pretty big hits.
I believe he was playing outside linebacker, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty good to just get that first little bit of action going on there. Then I think what we finished up tonight with Union and Elizabethan.
Yeah.
We got to go home and watch that one on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I thought Union come out crisp from the get-go. Usually when they go up to Elizabethan's a week ahead of them, and it usually takes them about a quarter and a half to catch up to Elizabethan's game speed and stuff. But I thought Union come out right off the bat. Big Keith Chandler just busted one right up the middle on them. He was making plays on defense. Him announcers was saying, God almighty, a kid that size, ain't no way he should be able to move like that.
Oh, yeah. They blitzed him there off the – he was playing the outside linebacker spot, and they blitzed him, and he was starting to ease in, and he timed that perfect, son. I'm telling you, before the running back got to the hole, he done had him around the ankles. I mean, he flew
was
in there.
wide open, wasn't he?
But, they had a real good showing over there. They really did. I mean, they looked really good on both sides of the ball, defense, and their secondary. Elizabethan did throw the ball on them pretty good, but now when it come to running, the Union had that shut down about all night. There's like a drive or two that I think that one drive that really stands out to me, Elizabethan pretty much drove it down their throat right then, but it was later on in the scrimmage and stuff.
Yeah.
And, they may have had some
just
other guys in too,
Yeah, just as far as just coming out and just being crisp right off the bat, Union was on their game right from the get-go. And
they wasn't no slow start to it.
They was ready. But I ain't trying take nothing away from Union, but now you may be a lot there to question from Elizabeth, and I think they was starting some freshmen there, and for a 5A school to be starting some freshmen, that's hard to believe.
Yeah, there's some youth going on there, and Elizabethan's not the Elizabethan from even 2 years ago. They're probably not the same Elizabethan that was there last year, but it's still Elizabethan.
They've got the same quarterback, but I think everything else around them's pretty young.
Yeah.
But we're getting ready to find out Friday night when they play Big Science Hill. We'll find out if that's the true Elizabethan or not.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on in here to the Eastside, Burton, Northwood, Patrick Henry, Thomas Walker. They all had the jamboree at Emory and Henry. Not really saw anything on this one, but we do know just from like newspaper articles and stuff, Eastside had a really good showing. Them and Patrick Henry fired off first with each other. Patrick Henry and them, they played to like 14-14 tie, 21-21 tie. That's saying a lot. Because Patrick Henry still has that big line. They have that D1 guy still on there. So I feel like them two teams is going to be pretty good. Burton looking way improved from what they were last year. They played tough. They actually, I think they beat Thomas Walker in the first one like 21-14 or 21-7 or something like that.
Sound like a pretty good ball game.
Yeah.
Which I talked to the Thomas Walker coaches when I was down at Lee watching Lee and Tazewell, and the Thomas Walker coaches, man, I talked to Bryce Durant, and he sounded like he was pretty upbeat, like he felt like they was going to have a lot better season than they did last year, and then them and I, which we've seen Norton, and I told them how impressive Norton looked compared to a 1-9 season, and I think we seen a pretty good ball game right there.
Yep. So, Northwood, bless their heart, they're going to be still young. I think they only got 4 seniors on their team, and right now the youth bug's biting them. But it looks like in another year, maybe 2 years, Northwood will be back up there competing really well. Overall, it looks like the Cumberland District's shaping up to be a little bit tighter than what we thought. We got some schools that can beat schools if they overlook them, real easy and stuff. Tazewell at Lehigh. Tazewell came down to Lehigh. By looking at this, I honestly think that they probably got 2 of the biggest lines that anybody will see this year. Both of them, especially Tazewell. Their line is huge, ain't they, Kermit?
Oh, man. I tell you, I just woke up to a blessing. Aaron was calling me at 4 o'clock, and he sent me a picture of the Tazewell bus turning off our Union. And
what was it I said? Kermit, this only means one thing. They took the Big Stone Gap exit.
Oh, yeah.
And Union's already played their scrimmage this week.
He said, guess where they're headed? I said, Lee County. And I got in the truck, and I took off. And Aaron was still trying to get the podcast out. And he's like, you sucking dog, you. And
yeah, I was like, I wanted to go so bad.
But I just got in the truck and rode down to Lee County. Sure enough, that it was, but had to wait through about an hour lightning storm and to watch them get out there and get it on. But they finally waited the lightning out, and I was pretty impressed by Lee County, what they done down there. They look really good. Tazewell broke off a big 50-yard run at the beginning of the game, which is kind of what I expected was going to happen. But, man, Lee held them, I think, 8 plays down there inside the 20 before Tazewell finally scored. And that was kind of surprising me how good Lee started looking on defense there, after that first big run. But like Aaron said, man, Lee got the ball, and Tazewell got 4 big old beasts up front. They look like a 10-foot wall coming through there with their hands up in the air. And Pendergraft had a little rough start there, but I think he just had happy feet with them big boys coming through there like that. But
he eventually, Sean's gonna be happy to hear this because he likes Pendergraft a lot. Sean, listen, look at me, bunny.
Looking at you.
I'm telling you right now. He showed the arm off, son.
That's what I heard.
He showed the arm off. The boy throwed it's probably one of the tightest spiral balls, man.
To the little dude on the field.
Oh, yeah. And it hit him in stride right down the sideline.
Yeah, man. And
beautiful ball. Beautiful ball.
It seemed like after the first 10 series, 10-play series, like Pendergraft started settling in, and he started making some throws all over the field, and I think he made like 2 or 3 deep ball throws. And what really surprised me was how Lee's receivers was getting so far behind Tazewell's secondary. But I know Tazewell, they've lost a lot in their secondary, and they're young this year. And plus, you take a 2.5-hour bus ride and then have to sit an hour.
Yeah, waiting on a storm.
Tazewell just didn't look what I expected them to look there, but not take nothing away from Lee. But Lee, man, they really look like they're going to be a lot better than they was last year.
Yeah, they do. They are definitely going to be way better than they were last year. Like I said, I was impressed with the way Pendergraft threw the ball. Now, he had some, man. He hit his receivers just dropped a few of them little slants. They're doing some. I'm gonna tell you right now, they get the timing down on them slants and them mesh routes that they were running, but they're gonna be tough to stop. I mean, that's passes that's gonna be coming out quick and everything. So
they even run the ball good. Their offensive and defensive line, I think, is the biggest difference because they run the ball good, and their defensive front held up pretty good up front against Tazewell.
I think, too, like, later in the season, if Pendergraft's showing off his arm early like this, later in the year, as the offensive line gets better and better as the year goes, that they'll be able to start, pushing the ball down the field a lot more instead of the mesh routes and the slants and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, it's just going to open up the deep balls and stuff.
First half you run enough of that mesh and slant, and then you give them a slant and go or something, and if you got a quarterback who can really throw it like he can, that'll shock some people.
Yeah, he has the arm, and it's going to open up the run game even more.
Yeah, kid's a good player, man.
Which I like those little short mesh routes and those slants.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, the very first one he threw down there, it hit his guy right in the hands, and if he hadn't dropped that ball, he's gone. I mean, because the Tazewell safety was not nowhere right. I mean, he wasn't in the middle of the field; he was gone. I don't know where that guy had gotten to, but he
wasn't there.
He wasn't there, and that would have been a score. But clean up a few things, and they will. I'm sure they will. So let's go on to Lebanon and Y Central.
Oh Lord!
I heard from Y Central person themselves, and this is exactly what they said. Lebanon is eating their lunch. They're telling us what we're going to have for lunch next week, and then they're coming to take that too. Absolutely, so wore them out.
Lord. Not good.
Lebanon looked good. That everybody was saying in this thing right here, and I from what we've heard and stuff, Coach Norris, he's got them moving in the right direction up there, and they've bought into, sounds like, to what he's bringing to the table this year, and they've got one of the best quarterbacks in Southwest Virginia there too. So, and one of the best receivers. That guy had over 1,700 yards receiving last year. So, sounds like Lebanon's going to be tough. They're going to be our game of the week next week, them and Honaker, and we'll be bringing on Coach Norris for next week's podcast. So we're looking forward to that. And, of course, we done hit on Elizabeth and Union, and we have already talked a little bit about the Gate City Westridge game. Gate City had a good showing over there, better than in the past. Ridgeview, Letcher Central, Kentucky. Sean, listen, do they have else, like you're getting ready for a drag race or something. Here we are getting ready for football season.
Yeah.
It's like Ridgeview's got a car in the garage that they just don't want nobody to see it. You know what I'm saying? And are they fixing to really come out and shock the world, or?
I'll tell you what I know.
Because they're secret right now.
That's all I know. This is all I know. I know that I talked to a couple people that were at the game. Last year, coming off of the year when they went and lost to Graham, in the semifinals, they lost their whole receiving core, most of their offensive line that year. And last year was kind of more like a gelling year. And the people of the hometown of Clintwood are excited, from what I hear. They say Ryan O'Quinn and the receivers are kind of starting to gel. He had one kid last year that was really good. His name's Hayden Baker. Him and Ryan hooked up for 3 touchdowns in that game the other night. Every time Ridgeview's offense touched the ball, they scored. And said their running back had 1 touchdown, and they didn't allow any points throughout the whole scrimmage. So that's,
Well,
it's a scrimmage, but, they're
keeping it secret. I know that.
They say they look pretty good from what I hear. So,
well, how did Letcher Central look? I mean, did they tell that?
I have no idea. But, I think Ridgeview probably brought back more than anybody. They only lost 3 seniors last year. So that's pretty big. The whole offensive line, I think, is there. All the skill positions, I know for a fact, are there. Most of the defense, I think, one outside linebacker left. But, I think they just brought back a whole lot, and that I think it really helped them just to have another year season. And then, you got a great quarterback like he is, but it's still going to take some time to, gel with every skill position he had graduated, 2 years ago. So it's going to take some time to gel. But
sounds like the top 4 or 5 is going to be up for grabs.
Everybody says they look good. Everybody I've talked to. I wasn't there, but
that's exciting.
Yeah, I've heard from one guy that said Ridgeview looked really good over there. But now there's a game that ain't on here that I watch is at Richlands and Princeton. I watched a little bit of it. Couldn't hardly stand to watch no more. Don't look like things are going good for Richlands up that way. I think Princeton had scored 10 touchdowns. Or
they scored 4 in the first
3 or
10 plays.
Was it 4?
Yes.
Well, I know they scored 3, and then they intercepted right off the bat and took another one to the house. And so it don't look like things is going the right directions up there so far.
If I ain't mistaken, they scored. It may have been 3. You may have been right when you was telling me. So it was 3 on their first 10 plays, and then they scored 2 times off of Richland's 10 plays on pick sixes.
I think the first pass of the game they intercepted and run it all the way back.
Shoot.
So.
Yep. Well, let's talk about this coming week here. We got jamborees going on. Mostly going to be benefit games.
You still left one team out there.
Who?
Ain't on this list. We didn't talk about Abingdon and Radford.
Oh, yeah, we didn't know anything about them when we done this thing here.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we will talk about that game because both of them's going to be in the mix of things in the end. But I'm going to tell you right now.
They was going at it, wasn't it?
Abingdon looks really good.
Oh, yeah, they're loaded.
They look really good.
Them and Radford, man, they both look like they could be playing for a title, down the road there. But that ball kid, he's the fastest kid on the field by far. He, one play, take it 50 yards. I bet he had 3 runs for over 100 and some yards there.
Yeah, the Woods kid at Abingdon, which is the tight end. I thought he was a sophomore last year, but he was actually a freshman. According to the article that was in the paper that came out yesterday evening, he's a sophomore D1 prospect.
Sheesh.
And he is legit.
They look good up front, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, if you want to watch it, now, if you want to watch a scrimmage, that was a scrimmage. They was going at it now, back and forth.
Yeah. Abingdon got the better hand of them, too. So they look good. They really did. Excellent. That was an excellent scrimmage. I mean, you had athletes you could see all over the field.
It felt more like a game when you was watching it.
And Barr, the running back Barr,
yeah,
I think his speed's even increased more than what it was last year. And that's saying a lot. That boy could burn last year.
He could burn you on the edges, up the middle. When he gets past that line of scrimmage, it's hard to catch that boy. If you ain't ahead of him, you probably ain't catching him.
No, you better have a good angle. All righty. This week's jamborees and benefit games.
I got one thing to add before. Ridgeview Northwood was supposed to be the benefit game for this week. It got canceled. Northwood backed out. So just wanted to throw that in there before we got in there.
There's probably a reason why.
Before we got all in there, I just wanted to put that out there. Benefit game for Ridgeview's canceled.
Well,
that sucks for them, really.
No,
are they going to try to get a pickup or something?
I have no idea.
I think they'd be better off scrimmaging their B team, and they'd be better off.
Well, go to Norton.
I mean, I ain't the coach. I don't make the decision. I'm just telling you what I know.
I'm just saying, call him. Try to get in at Norton. No, I'm saying they need to call down there and say, "Hey, boys, let us in on this."
I don't know. To me, that aggravates me because I don't even see what the point they be trying to even scrimmage Northwood for. I mean, you got to be scrimmaging better teams than that if you're Double A, Ridgeview. I mean, their schedule's already weak enough, like we've talked about in the past.
It's better than it was last year.
Yeah.
It ain't that much better, though.
But setting up scrimmages like that with little schools like that, that's...
Which Grundy's going to be better, too, this year, so... That was another one. They was like Grundy and Battle and all them. They all looked pretty even in the air. But this first benefit game, you know, like I said, it's still benefit games and it's still scrimmages. I mean, anything can happen in these games and everything. But this first one, I think, it's going to be one that we're going to see where two good teams are at. You know, you got Gate City and Virginia High. We ain't seen nothing on Virginia High yet. I know they went to Tennessee High, and from the sound of it, there's a lot of excited people on the Virginia side of Bristol. Wow. So it must have went pretty good for Virginia High. So this is going to be a good matchup. I think both of these teams right here is going to benefit from this, you know, one way or the other. I mean, it's going to set them up to know exactly what direction they're definitely needing to go in to leading into week one.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think something from last year that I seen, you know, like even I think I watched Virginia High play 2 ball games, but one thing that really impressed me was they played Ridgeview on the Friday Night Rivals game, and you know, I thought last year, you know, I didn't think Ridgeview had a great season, but I thought they did have a pretty stout defense for the most part last year. And I think, personally, not just because I'm from Clintwood, I think we'd all agree they got one of the best linebackers, if not the best linebacker in the Mountain 7. I would put him and Keith Chandler 1 and 2 all day long. Branson Honaker and Keith Chandler. You know, it's like a 1A, 1B thing. And he's tough to play against. But when Virginia High really, like, kind of set in, and they, you know, got in that 2-back set, little shotgun, running a little veer and stuff, they were gashing Ridgeview, and Ridgeview couldn't do nothing about it. And, you know, I think just another year, like I say all the time, another year of growth for a team is huge. And from what we've talked about, Virginia High brought a lot back too. I think Virginia High could be pretty good this year. I really do.
Oh, yeah, Virginia High is going to be good. I mean, they were... Like we said, they were young last year. And
athletes
everywhere.
Everywhere.
But Virginia High's always had that, and they've never really been able to fully put it together. And you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, when you get 20, 15-yard penalties a game, it's hard to move the ball. You know?
Well, that's true.
You know what I mean?
But I agree with Sean. I think when Honaker went down, Ridgeview's defense started struggling after that, and but it's like we said at the beginning of the year. I think this Virginia High team may be the most talented team out there, and you know, if they could straighten some things up,
it's another one of the big lines too.
Oh yeah, one of the biggest lines I've seen in high school football. I know last year, and I think it's going to be a great challenge for Gate City right here.
Yeah, I do too.
It's going to be about like a game. I'd say it's going to be some snot slinging and some pads popping.
And it's a no rivalry game. It's pretty cool. Lebanon, Twin Springs. Keith, I love you, buddy, but this one should help you a lot. It's gonna be a tough one though. I hope this is the kind of game that you see come up, and you just hope that everybody, well, all of them, every one of these games, you just hope everybody. The main thing is coming out, staying healthy and stuff. Yeah, but man,
that's the big thing when Union played Twin Springs last year. That's what a lot of them parents were saying. They was just like, well, man, we're just glad we didn't get nobody hurt. And yeah, I think it's a big challenge for Twin Springs right here.
My hat's off to Keith, though, son. He's not backing down.
That's right.
And he's putting them out there and getting them battle tested. And he probably knew that he was going to have to this time. That's why he went out and got this these tough scrimmages and benefit games be like.
You got to play good teams if you want to be good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It'll make you grow up, but you can make kids will grow up quick in these kind of games here. And my hat's off definitely off to Keith for not backing down.
Something else about Keith, the way he coaches, I bet his kids ain't gonna back down either.
Oh no,
they could be losing by 100.
And
they ain't gonna quit. There ain't no way.
Shoot, no, man. They love him, man. They'll do anything in the world for him.
It's definitely a good uphill climb for him right off the bat.
Yeah. Hey, this next one right here, I would be kind of interested in watching it. I mean, it could end up being, if Lehigh will definitely live up to their hype of what they did against Tazewell, this Lehigh Honaker game should be good. What?
No. Do you think? We can cover just laughing.
What in the gym?
Yeah, this. I think you're right here. I think it should be a great game to go watch. Everybody's high up on Honaker, and I believe Lehigh's a much improved team than what they was last year. I think it'll be a good scrimmage or game to see what either team's got there. See how much either Lehigh's improved or where Honaker's at.
I like it. Do you like it?
I like it. Yeah, sure. I like it. I think it'll be a good quarterback matchup either way. Whatever happens, you got Pendergraft, and I know there's a lot of people that look down on him, but I swear I think he's a great quarterback.
He is a good quarterback.
I think he really is, and we know how the kid from Honaker is. Which we've seen some stuff that Honaker don't look like they have a whole lot of kids out this year.
They don't, man.
That they're going to be a smaller team. From what they went from last year, there looked like there was kids on the sideline they didn't have jerseys for standing around down there. They had a ton of kids last year.
Yep.
We know there's things that have happened, but they look like a way smaller team this year. I think, I don't want to say it. Last year it would have been a good test for Lehigh, I think that would have been better, but this
last year they would have blowed Lehigh away.
I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. It would have been a good scrimmage for Lehigh to have against a better team. But this year, we don't really know what Honaker looks like yet, so I don't know. Could go either way. Who knows?
It's going to be interesting with all them linemen that Honaker lost because I know 3 of them went to
That's
Wild.
what's killing them, I think, more than anything.
Their best receiver, their
Aiden Lowe.
Yeah.
But he was good for them both sides of the ball. I mean, they did lose some key stuff.
Probably the safety too. What was the safety's name? It wasn't Lowe. It was the kid that played receiver. I think Parker Bandy. Maybe?
Yeah, Parker Bandy's gone too.
Him or Aiden Lowe one played safety, and I know the coach over there when we interviewed him last year raved about how good that kid was. And
yeah, it's Parker.
He called the defense for him. He was the leader on defense, even with as much as he done on offense. But you lose a player like that, that can really command the field on defense like that. That's a big hit to you too.
Yeah. Big jamboree out here in the good old Norton. Coming up, it'll have Ryco, Y Central, Burton, and Y Central. I think Thomas Walker's going to be there too. I'm not exactly sure what order everything's going in, but that ought to be a pretty good little jamboree, All the ones that goes against the Cove's going to get a good test.
That's what I was about to say.
Try to see where they're going to be at, in it and everything. Graham will be in a jamboree at the Georgia With one, so they're going to be playing Grayson County, Rural Retreat. Floyd County will be there, Graham, and Mount Airy, North Carolina. So I think Graham ends up seeing Grayson County and Mount Airy, North Carolina is who they're playing. So I'm not really sure what Grayson County's going to have or even Mount Airy.
I tell you, I just like that George With because they're a little school, man, and people don't realize it. They play a lot of big schools. They
Rich football school.
They don't back down from nobody. I love that right there at George Wythe. I know they played Union the last 2 years, and I think actually they come down at Union and 2 years ago and probably got the better of Union down there as far as flying around, hitting people, and I was surprised how they showed up. I think Union took them a little more serious the next year up there at the Jamboree.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know nothing about any of these teams, but I'd like to say the last time I was at Grayson County, I did not have a good time. I'll say that. My freshman year of high school, we won the state championship that year. Our only loss was to Grayson County. We might have lost to Hazard, but we went to Grayson County on that god-awful bus ride 3 hours over there. They beat us 66-6. Killed us.
Yeah. Grayson County usually pretty good.
They was good that year. I know that.
I don't think they're as consistent as a lot of your, what we consider football schools like Appalachia was, Powell Valley, your old Gate Cities, your old Richlands.
Yeah.
George Wythe's one of them schools that's always there, man. Yeah. Well, anybody got anything else that you might have heard that we hadn't got on here? That'll be coming up Friday. Well, me and old K-Dog, you going with us?
Did we have... we didn't have Union and Eastside on here, did we?
Yeah. Well, maybe not. That's going to be a good scrimmage, though. Eastside is doing a benefit game with Union. That's going to be a good one for Eastside.
I think that'd be a great challenge for Eastside because if you want to compete for a state championship, you got to go down there and at least try to compete with Union. If you're on that caliber level.
Well, you're starting a new quarterback, which is a freshman, and they got him plenty of snaps in. I really liked what Coach Rhodes did at the Jamboree. Yeah. I mean, they even let him steal quarterback during the JV game. That way he's getting reps.
Game snaps.
Absolutely.
That's the most important thing.
Absolutely. So
actually, I have something just to add to this. My wife coaches volleyball, and she has a lot of young girls, and they were kind of in a blowout last night. And I told her the exact same thing. There's this one girl that she might be a freshman or something, real young, first year of volleyball, but she's huge. She's like 6'2" probably in 9th grade. She's a huge girl. And that's what I told her. I said, the more you let her stay in that ball game, the more in-game time you get, the better you get.
Yeah, you get experience.
Somebody, that you don't know. I mean, at practice, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
But when you're getting snaps against, another team in a different color jersey, that helps you more than anything. And that's what I was going to say. I like what he done there, too. So he just he could, more in-game reps. That helps more than anything.
Hey, it don't count against your record.
Absolutely.
It don't count against your record in these benefit games. So why not schedule Union?
You can,
If you're Coach Rose, you're going to put your quarterback that needs to get this experience and get it in a big game situation because it's going to be Union's going to bring it to them. You know what I mean? And you talk about making a kid grow up. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, throw him in there.
Probably out of all of them, I think the situation that Eastside is in coming into this right now, I think this is the best Jamboree game as far as helping a team. I think Eastside's sitting in the best spot right now.
Yeah.
To get help for coming out of the Jamboree or the benefit game.
Yeah.
To lead into week 1.
Well, another thing too is, like you said, for that kid, this will be a big game atmosphere. Union.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're one of the best teams around anywhere here. And, like you just said, when they get in these big games, big in-district games with Rycove and, people like that, this experience could help that kid a long way when he gets in these bigger games toward the end of the year.
Yes, sir.
And it may be just a benefit game, but you're going to have some fans show up for it.
Hey,
be a big crowd.
All this time, no football. A lot of them that probably didn't make the trip to Elizabethton. I mean, you could look at the stands and tell that.
Yeah.
It looked like mostly parents. The big Stone Gap people in Appalachia out of Appalachia that didn't get to make that trip. They're eager for some football, man. And this is their first chance to get it. Yeah, they're coming out. They're coming out, and it's going to be big, ain't it? Yeah. Down there.
It'll be a pretty good atmosphere, won't it?
It will be. And you still want to go across the state line.
Yeah.
Well, that's right close to the house. I may even run down there.
Well, I thought you was going to wait just across the state line.
No, I can't go that far.
What the world?
No. I'll be on Daddy duty that night. I'll have to be home early.
He afraid he'd get lost over in Tennessee.
I may do it now. It did take me 5 hours to get to Rye Cove last year. You never know what'll happen with me and the wife.
You went through all the hollers.
Oh, yes, and I went through every farm over there. I swear I did. Every dirt road you could hit over toward that way, I was on it.
Lord have mercy, them GPSs.
They kill you.
Shoot you.
I knew I'd turn around when I seen the big sign that said, trespassers will be shot. And I said, I'll go the other way then.
You took heed to it, didn't you?
I turned around and I seen that sign. My GPS was like, keep going forward for 2 miles. I was like, if you just seen what I seen, you wouldn't keep going forward.
Yeah.
I was getting out of Dodge, son. It wasn't happening.
Oh, Lord. Well, little buddy, you just going to have to start meeting us and just let us get you there.
That's what I've done every other time except that one.
Shoot, man, from my days of hauling these teams around, I know about every football field in the state of Virginia. I've been to them, you know, baseball fields and stuff. I've about been to every school for way up into Virginia anyhow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it all starts for real next week, boys. And our week 1 game of the week will be Honaker Tigers versus the Lebanon Pioneers. And our scheduled special guest for next week is going to be the head coach of the Lebanon Pioneers, Mr. Hunter Norris. So we're looking forward to having him on with us and everything. And a side note here.
Here we go.
Did anyone see the behind the back pass from Mahomes to Travis Kelce for an 8-yard gain?
Listen.
Oh, my God.
Did you see it?
Listen, I want to say something. I just want to say something.
Oh, God. Let's hear it.
No, I mean, I won't argue. I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. But love him or hate him, he can throw the football. But I just want to say this. As an old Dolphins fan, my papa would roll over in his grave if I didn't say this. There's footage of Dan Marino throwing a ball behind his back like 60 yards. So I don't want to hear no Patrick Mahomes threw a 2-yard pass and Travis Kelce got 6 of them. I don't want to hear it.
Let me ask you something. Was the Dan Marino pass for 60 yards in a game?
It was in the air for 60 yards
in the game
behind his back.
In game.
Hey, what
in game?
Hey, wait a second. Wasn't this?
It's impressive for the yardage.
Wasn't this preseason? That ain't a real game.
It still don't matter. It's still in game situation.
Anything can happen in a scrimmage now.
Boys, it's impressive.
You know that.
It's impressive.
He barely got it to him. Travis Kelce had to come back 2 yards, scoop it off the ground. I'm pretty sure it hit the grass before he even caught it.
2-yard shuffle pass. For 6, 8 yards.
Still yet. Very impressive. It was still impressive. You know it was.
I'll tell you, he is an athlete. I will say that.
Oh, yeah. I'm not a fan of him.
I'm not either, but man.
But you got to give credit where credit's due.
You watch some of his old Texas Tech stuff when he could just be wild with football and do whatever he wanted to because he was the man down there. He threw some crazy stuff in college.
He can do that right now. He's the man.
Right yep.
He's the man here.
Kermit ain't happy about that one.
He still ain't no Tom Brady.
Tell him, Kay.
He's on his way to beating his records.
He never will. He still ain't no Tom Brady.
My God, he's been in the NFL, 5 years and won 4 Super Bowls in 5 years.
He still ain't no Tom.
Not yet, but he's on the way.
Old Tom Bomb going to come out of retirement. He'll have another run at it here.
Golly, man. This kid, I mean, honest to God, he's a winner, ain't he?
He is.
He finds a way to flip and win. Oh, God.
Falling down in the Super Bowl that one year.
Oh, yeah.
threw a touchdown. Or I don't know if it's a touchdown, but he threw a ball and completed it, falling down. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's absolutely wild.
So to you young people out there listening that's still in high school,
don't be like Patrick Mahomes would be my advice. Don't try to throw across your body. Set your feet and throw the football. That's what I would say to you. Aaron's going to tell you something different. That's my advice to you.
I am going to say this, though. You've got to be this way that Patrick Mahomes is.
Okay.
This is the way you need to be. That you've got to find that way and be able to find that way to win like Patrick Mahomes does.
And he looks like he's having fun while he's doing it. I know I dog him out a lot, but he does look like he's having a lot of fun out there while he's doing it.
Yeah, he's like a freaking Houdini.
I'd have fun too.
And then he's laughing at he's laughing at everybody else like,
that big
you're a joke.
$100 million contract probably helps in the fun, I'd say.
Oh yeah,
Quite a bit.
I'd have thrown that pass behind my back, and then I'd have been like, pull me out, coach. Well, you got anything else, Sean?
I'm good.
Kermit?
We almost there.
Almost there, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Tennessee starts this week. Virginia next week. So I guess me and K-Dog's going across the daggone state line.
Woo!
He got to go see the DB band.
Yeah, man.
I was like,
best band in the land, baby.
That's what they say.
That is the truth.
That's what they say.
They are national champions.
Yeah, man.
And looks like they're going to be again, from what I understand. So, I mean, here we are excited about football. I'm like, Kermit, that ain't going to be no football. I don't care. I ain't going for that. I'm going to see the band play. I showed him that Metallica show they done last year. It fired him up, buddy.
Yeah.
They are impressive, though. If you've never been to a DB football game and to experience their band, it is awesome, dude. Their marching band is bar none probably the best that you'll ever see in high school. In high school, man, they're crazy good.
And probably a good football game too.
It will be Farragut and DB.
I really want to go see old Austin Sykes, see how he does. I hope he has a really great year.
What if we don't start? Will you be disappointed?
No,
or is the band going to make up a different?
I'll still get to watch the band, so it'll be all right.
That'll make up if he don't start?
Yeah.
All right. Coaches over there at DB, if you are listening to this podcast this week, please let Austin Sykes start so my K-Dog will have the best night ever in his life of high school football. Well, if all minds and hearts clear, are they?
Good.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. Be sure to tune in next week as we interview Coach Norris, and we'll also have our weekly pick'em and break down the matchups. So we'll see you then, guys. Peace.